Alright, this week it's time to get into the review of Monster Maker. Now, I just recently finished it this week and everything, so that's why I'm doing the review. So I will get back into going over some of the supplements next week and everything. So I figure what better way to do like a finish off Monster Maker than to do a review of this week while it's still relatively fresh in my mind. So Monster Maker is a 3 month program from Athlean X, and so the whole concept is it's like, as you can tell, it's time to make a monster out of you, Monster Maker. So it's a program that Jeff Cavalier did with CT Fletcher, the legendary powerlifter himself. So the whole concept of this Monster Maker is to pretty much like a focus in on a specific muscle group and kind of just hammer away at it and pretty much laser focus and like, okay, look, I have like a weak point that I want to improve upon. So for me, I went and did focused in on back and everything. So now, with that said, with focusing in on one particular muscle group, you can see like you can run through this several different times. You can you do what I did, focus in on back, and then you can rerun it, focusing in on your shoulders, then your chest, your legs, and your arms. So you don't necessarily have to do this it's not necessarily like a one and done deal. Like, oh, I'm done. I did Monster Maker. Yes, I'm done with this program. Or anything. It's a repeatable program. Now, of course, all the Athlean X programs could be and are repeatable. So I've done like old school iron, so I could go back and redo old school iron and be like, okay, well, this is how I did it the first time. Now that I've gone through it this time, let me see if I can actually look at my stuff and how I went about it. Let's see how I can improve upon it. So now you could do the same kind of concept of like the Monster Maker. Like I could go through this again and focus again on back, but it's where this one shines in its repeatability isn't necessarily focusing in on one muscle group. Is that you can then switch up your, in a sense, the concept of your Monster Maker and change the focus. So I was like a few weeks behind like a fellow team athlete member, and she was focusing in on legs. So you can see how you can focus in on like your weak points and everything. So I've always seen that like my back is like one of those things that's like a weak point, and because it seems like I'm one of those ones who kind of struggles with pull-ups and everything. So I've been stuck at about 8 or 9, and so I'm like, okay, well, no, seeing this, like, okay, well, let me focus in on back, so that way I can, like, in a sense, improve upon a weakness and everything. So the whole concept of attacking your weaknesses until they become your strengths. And the great thing is like once that happens, now your strengths become your weaknesses, and so now like, oh well, I need to attack my weaknesses and everything. So you're constantly getting in that mindset of improvement. So now, can you improve to like to the point of getting to the perfection or like 100%? It's like, yeah, that's not necessarily achievable in the sense that we are limited, especially with our time and everything. So, but that's not the point. The point is to improve upon ourselves. So now if I were to go about this, like if I were to say jump into this right again, starting tomorrow on a Sunday, what I would probably end up doing is I would probably be focusing like, okay, well, let me focus in on legs, because that seems to be another like weak point for me. And it seems like, at least for me, that what I've noticed is that like back and leg muscles, it takes a lot of volume for me to see for them to respond and everything. So I've noticed that with chest and arms, it doesn't take nearly as much volume to get like a response out of those muscle groups for me as it does back and legs. So like if I were to go through this again, I would focus in on legs. So like the whole idea of the way this is laid out is that I mean, I don't know if I'd have to run through it again to see like if it actually changes the whole overarching structure of it. But like I'm pretty sure it won't. Though I think the only thing that would change would be my Monster Maker workout. So what what you do is you're doing a posterior chain workout, you're doing an anterior chain workout, and you get a day off, and then like what you're doing is like kind of like and the way it was set up for me is like a lower dynamic workout. So like you're doing like in a sense like a box squats where you're sitting there, like you sit down and you explode up, and like you're doing like 6 sets, but you're only doing 2. So the whole idea of the lower dynamic is like explosiveness. So then like you like lay down, like you're like laying down, you get up and then get right into a sprint, and like you do like in a sense, and of course you also do like you take dumbbells, you take like dumbbells, you do a squat, drop them, and then jump up onto a bench or a box. So it's like you're doing like in a sense an explosive lower dynamic workout for your legs, and then you get into your like your Monster Maker workout. It's called Friday the 13th. So that workout focuses directly on the muscle group that you're focusing on. So like for me, it was back. So like you're doing like in a sense 4 exercises, but the idea is like you might think like 4 exercises. Instead of doing like the insane amount of volume like Arnold would do, what you do is like you're decreasing the time and the number of exercises, so that way it forces you to, of course, in a sense, to get that adaptation that you're looking for. It forces you to up the intensity. So like for instance, like with the barbell rows, you have like 8 sets of the barbell rows, and so like what you're doing is like you're doing a number of working sets to work up towards like your one rep max and everything. So like you're sitting there like you're doing your barbell rows, like you do like in a sense 5 like working sets. So you work your way up to your 1 rep max, and then what you do is the last 3 sets of the barbell row is you're doing that 1 rep max. Like for instance, like your 1 rep max may be like 500 pounds on the barbell row. I'm just throwing numbers out there. So like you'll work yourself up to that 500 pounds, and then you get 3 attempts to do that 1 rep max. And you do have like things like the straight arm push down and like the lat pull down. So like you're getting not only like the horizontal pulling action with the barbell rows, you're also getting the vertical one with like the lat pull downs and the straight arm push downs and everything. So that's the whole concept of the Monster Maker, is that like you're then focusing in on like one particular muscle group. Now to finish off the week, there's the remnant day, and your remnant day is kind of like okay, so you've already done posterior, anterior chain exercises. You've done like a lower dynamic workout. Now, like, and your 4th workout of the week is like the muscle group focus that you're like trying to attack. In my case, it was back. Your 5th and final day, remnant day, you're going in and kind of like it's kind of like a cleanup concept. Like you're kind of like covering like the rest of the bases. Like you're doing like a squats, like a bench press. You're doing curls, overhead shoulder presses, and like tricep exercises. So like you're kind of like hitting the rest of the muscle groups, like in a sense like a second time after doing like both anterior and posterior chain. So like you're in a sense getting like a third day with the rest of the stuff, and it gives you that like one focused day on the muscle group that you are focusing in with your Monster Maker, like the Friday the 13th workout. So you go through like 3 weeks of that. You then go through like the 4th week, and like the first month you do challenge. It's a challenge week. So what you do is they have like 2 400 challenges, and then a max effort challenge. So like for instance, you have a 400 challenge for both anterior and posterior chain. And then so what the concept is like you take like for instance like a posterior chain, like you do the bicep curls, and then you do like high pulls like with the dumbbells. Of course, just sitting down I can't necessarily really showcase them, but like the bicep curls you do 100 reps, high pulls you do 100 reps, and then like you do like a reversed sprinter lunges for like your hamstrings. So like that's like in a sense your posterior chain workout. So you do 200 sprinter lunges, like 100 with each leg. So you have like 2 exercises with 100 reps, and 1 exercise with your legs at 200 reps. And the thing is that challenge is timed. So like you have like 400 reps to do, and it's not like a set time, but what you have to do is that you time yourself. So like you start a stopwatch and say you do like you're sitting there going through and like this is where the idea of strategy also comes in mind. So like, okay, I'll sit there and do 25 bicep curls. I'll do like 50 sprinter lunges, and I'll do sit there 25 high pulls, and like I'll go through it like that. You time yourself and how long it takes you to get through those 400 reps, and the same thing goes with the anterior chain. You have like 3 exercises, like for instance, like a dumbbell bench press, like for 100 reps, a single dumbbell push out for 100 reps, and then like a 200 dumbbell front squats. And again, it's timed, so like you're sitting there doing all 400 reps in a timed fashion. And then like you have the third challenge is the max effort. So like what you do is 13 reps at your 5 rep max. You time how long it takes. Like for instance, squats, bench press, like and then like you do like strict curls, like tricep extensions. You pretty much cover all the body parts. You only time like how long it takes you to do the 13 reps at your 5 rep max. So then you look at like the time, like say it takes you 10 minutes to do all 13 reps of each 5 rep max exercise. Okay, that now, and the same kind of concept. Say it took you 10 minutes for each challenge. That's month 1. Then you repeat that in month 2 and 3, and the fourth and final week in each month is like in the second and third month is a retest. Okay, so now like once you get through month 2, okay, I have like a 10-minute time frame for my first challenges that I did. Now you're going in trying to like, okay, I got 10 minutes for those challenges. I got to beat those times and everything. So if you beat those times, then like oh hey, look, I'm increasing my work capacity. So that's the whole concept of Monster Maker, is to increase your work capacity with whatever your Monster Maker is and everything. So, and then you finish off like month 3 with the same kind of concept. You go through like the whole challenge. Okay, well, like the first time I retested, I got 9 minutes across the board. Okay, let's see if I can get 8 minutes across the board. So now, like if you you do that, you notice like, okay, this is successful. I was increasing my work capacity. You could do that. Like that's one concept of increasing your work capacity, is decreasing the time in your challenges. Another way is like maybe you increase the weight. Like there's one, I increased the weight, but my time went down. So like you could increase the weight like the first time. Okay, well I increased the weight the first time, my time went down. Let me keep the weight the same the second time, and let me see if I can actually beat that time where I increased the weight and everything by keeping the weight the same and everything. So there's 2 different ways you can do the challenges and everything. So the weaknesses of this program is it's not a conditioning program, it's a muscle building program. So the conditioning really isn't there. So like if you're someone like, oh, I need to do conditioning, you could like with having 5 lifting days, you could in a sense take that 6th day and use it as a conditioning day. So but that's not the focus of this program. So that's why like the conditioning is the weaknesses of this program, is because it's a muscle building program, like I said, to be able to increase your work capacity for the specific Monster Maker focus that you have. And like in my case, it was back. So now, like again, if I were, like I said, if I were to do this again, I wouldn't necessarily like having gone through it with back. I mean, I could go through it and see if I could increase it even more, but I'd be more apt to like go in and focus in on legs, trying to focus in on another weakness for myself. So that's like the kind of shining spot of this program, in that it's a repeatable program, in that you can shift your focus and everything. So now, I did have a couple setbacks where I did feel like I pulled a neck muscle in 1 week, so I had to back off for a week. And of course, there was a week I did get sick, so I backed off to like kind of recover from that cold. So I was set back a couple weeks. So my original plan was to get into champion right after this, to get myself ready for the AX Live event. So of course, having had those couple setbacks, I really only have, like, as of this recording, a month left to get ready for AX Live, and Champion is a 5-week program. So I now have to, like, with those setbacks, instead of sitting here and be like, oh, I can't do this, screw it. I'm shifting gears. I'm now getting into like the Torch program. So that's a month-long program that was recently released. So, and that's a conditioning one. So like I said, with Monster Maker being a strength-based program and having conditioning as a weakness. Because of that, I'm now getting into a conditioning program with Torched, and that's a month-long program, which I'm now getting into to get to kind of help do that final push for AX Live. So in another month, I will have like a review of the Torched program. It's coming up. So next week, I will get back into doing the whole idea of getting into supplements and everything.